Sorry? Just sorting out the tech. It's always an issue. See? Okay. There you go. Good morning, all.
Good
Can you
morning.
hear me loud and clear? My name is Fanile Shongwe. So I do investment banking here at Standard Bank Mozambique, part of Standard Bank Group. So what I'll be presenting this morning is sustainable finance and where it fits in the path of ESG and transition journey overall. Okay, I'm due to work just right now. Okay, I think the starting point for Standard Bank Group is that our purpose is basically Africa is our home and we drive her growth. That is the starting point. And to deliver those or to realize our purpose, we have three strategic priorities, which is transforming client experience, executing with excellence, and then drive sustainable growth and value. So under this third pillar, you will see there we've got financial outcome and we've got what we call C. And C stands for social, economic, environmental impact. That is the framework that basically the group uses to deliver on its ESG commitments. And these ESG commitments entails two pillars, which is maximizing positive impact and effectively managing risk. So under managing risk, that basically talks to the banks on operations, the commitments that we've made from an ESG perspective. As an example, in 2022, we issued a climate policy committing to achieve net zero carbon emissions from newly built facilities by 2030, from existing ones by 2040, and from our portfolio of financed emissions by 2050. So those are the commitments we have made as a contribution towards managing the ESG risk. And the first one is maximizing positive impact. How are we going to achieve that? We are going to achieve that by contributing to Africa's development, but through projects that have a positive impact on ESG. So if you take, for example, Bandakua, Mozambique, which is an upcoming project, it's hydro. If we are committed to support such kinds of projects because they count towards clean energy being a hydro, as an example. If you then move to the next, if it does want to respond, okay, there you go. So if you see here, this is our C framework. So we have about seven goals. This is where, as a bank, we feel that we can make a maximum impact. And this comes from financial inclusion, enterprise growth and creation, infrastructure, African trade and investment, climate change, education, and health. So these are the focus areas for the bank, which obviously help us to drive our ESG agenda and create a platform for Africa in having a conversation globally. So sustainable finance basically supports all the pillars and delivery of all these pillars. So this morning we'll be talking about sustainable finance, and this is where it gets a bit tricky, but I'll try not to be technical. So if you look at sustainable finance, what is sustainable finance? The short answer is mobilizing capital for impact. Okay? So you raise funding and you use that funding to invest, to support projects or clients that are looking to contribute towards the ESG journey. So if you look at the graph behind me, so to date, sustainable finance has basically exceeded $6 trillion globally. Just to appreciate the significance of that number, that is 2 times the GDP of India. If you haven't been to India, I'm sure most of us have been to the UK, that represents 2 times the GDP of the UK. So that's how much we have committed globally in supporting ESG related projects. Estimates suggest that it will cost about between $3 to $5 trillion a year between now and 2050 to achieve net zero. Just to put that into perspective, that is the GDP of UK being invested annually for 30 years. Every year, taking the GDP of the UK, investing it for 30 years for us to achieve net zero. And you will see the labeling at the bottom there. So that basically, these are the solutions and products that we use to mobilize and deploy sustainable finance solutions. So if you look at 2021 as an example, you just have to work with me there. Our labeling was a bit off, but if you look at the block, the block 2021, so the bottom block there, the green is green bonds. The second block there should read social bonds, and then the third block should read sustainability linked loans. So green bonds at the bottom, social bond followed by social bond, and then sustainability linked loans. This is important because I'll pack it in a later slide. So you will see that the growth has been quite significant over the years. As I mentioned, we have now surpassed $6 trillion over these years. Green bonds have always been relevant. You will see that from 2013, they've grown quite significant, green bonds. And then sustainability-linked loans have also grown, especially in 2021. That is because there is flexibility with sustainability-linked loans versus green bonds. That was the driver. But coming to 2022, you'll see that sustainability-linked loans actually came off. And the reason for that is that there is increased scrutiny around greenwashing. Regulators are paying more attention to it, and the question around companies setting ambitious targets, coming into the debate. So Standard Bank, as a business, this is what we have committed to. So we have committed to spend or mobilize about 250 billion rands between 2022 and 2026 to actually support sustainable or ESG related projects. So currently, if you look on the right hand side there, we have what we call a league table. Standard Bank currently sits at the top of that league table, supported by the projects we have funded to date. Okay, this one I'll skip.